All right, girls. So welcome to the Beauty
Hi.
Outlaw. So, I was explaining that you guys are really the OGs of the beauty industry. It is not the nurse. It is not the esthetician. It is the century that hairdressers have given to keeping us in check and confident, looking beautiful. And Julia, I screwed up your name with the intro. I tried and tried and tried. Julia, correct the name, please.
I'm probably going to mess it up too. It's Julia Savitskaya.
Beautiful name. Very awesome name. We all need to learn how to say that like 3 times. Yeah, fast.
Okay.
Where is that come from? What,
I'm from Ukraine.
Ukraine.
So, yeah. So I think the Skaya is like Polish descent, but I am Ukrainian. I was born there.
Love it. I love it. So a little bit about the background here. So Sharon, I don't know if she wants me to say it today because I'm growing in these crazy bangs right now because I'm taking an awesome peptide. And Sharon just looked at me and goes, "What's going on with your bangs?" So anyway,
when did I give
it's
you bangs?
not Sharon's problem. So Sharon is my hairdresser. And where I want to start is I want to start with your story. So we're going to start with Sharon first. And I want you to go way back. Where did you grow up?
Oh my gosh.
Give us a brief summary of where you grew up and what got you into hairdressing and your journey. Okay, we'll start with that, and then we're going to get to Julia.
Okay, so let's see, born in California, but 6 months old, moved to Australia. So my family, we were in Australia for my dad's work until I was about 5. So up until like when I started talking, I had an Australian accent.
So cute.
And
Love my Aussies.
Yeah.
I love my Aussies.
And then moved to Canada. So born a Canadian citizen, so dual citizenship. My dad's Canadian. Was in Canada for like 6 months and then back to California. So I've never lived anywhere in any other state but California. And I got into the hair industry when I was like 15. I started doing modeling. And the majority of the modeling that I did was with the hair industry. So that's kind of where I first was introduced to the industry. That's kind of where I found my passion for the hair industry. I loved the vibrancy. Everyone seemed to just love their job so much. And that really drew me to it. I took a little bit of a detour before going into getting my cosmetology license. So I didn't do that until I was about 28 years old. But yeah, once I did that, I kind of never looked back. And I've been with, for the majority of my career, I was with Tony and Guy. And that was where my education was based off of. That was the salon that I worked out of. And then up until recently, our poor salon closed down. And now I'm out on my own with this one.
With this one, the combo team here.
Yep, with my girl.
I love it.
Yeah.
Julia,
All right.
tell us if your story aligns at all.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm from Ukraine. I came to America. I went to Texas when I was 11. And like even in Ukraine, my mom was always doing hair, like in the kitchen. I think she took classes and kind of like wanted to become a hairdresser and esthetician and stuff like that. So I kind of like grew up watching her, like do her own hair, do my hair. And then in Texas, I joined Tony and Guy. I went to the school there and transferred out to California to another Tony and Guy, where I met Sharon, and the rest is history.
And this was for those of you, this is California. Yeah, we're in California where the girls, they transited. Texas was big with Tony and Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Then they transferred out here to California, which we had multiple locations. You guys were in Newport Beach.
We were in Newport, yeah.
So Newport Beach is, at the time, how many hairdressers and that?
Oh, I mean, like in its heyday?
Like 40?
Yeah,
right? Like we
40
had a
to 50.
huge salon.
Yeah, massive. And then
Giant.
in 2015, they compacted it a little bit. They moved locations, kind of. They did a franchise. So 2 of the girls that had been with them for, I think at the time, 18 years?
Wow.
like each.
Like, yeah, I mean, everybody's loyal.
Yeah.
Very loyal.
Yeah, like one of the owners had been with Tony and Guy since she was like 16, 17. Like she started as a receptionist, has always loved the hair industry. So her and her best friend decided to franchise. And then that's when they kind of downsized to a smaller location, but still at Fashion Island. And then they had that salon for 10 years. And I want to say they dropped the franchise name, the relationship with Tony and Guy in 2021, 22.
It's been like COVID really put
Oh, absolutely.
a change in that
Mhm.
because Tony and Guy, if I remember, I mean, 80s,
Mhm.
late 70s,
Mhm.
80s, and their training was
Oh,
probably the best,
hands down.
hands down, anywhere.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're like the reason why I wanted to get in with Tony and Guy from the ground level was because of their training background and their impression on the industry. They were such a staple. Worldwide, everyone knows that name. And it was kind of sad to kind of see the trickle down
Yeah.
of,
It was sad.
yeah. Yeah.
It was sad. They changed a lot though. Like some of their products they sold to
They sold
mainstream, like
yeah,
Level,
yes,
some
they
big
sold.
company.
I want to say it was like 2005, 2008. I think they sold their TG line to Unilever, and then I'm trying to think. I think it was like 2022. I don't know if it sold again, but like something happened with the distribution of it, and so we stopped carrying it. And yeah, it's very, I mean, you can't even really get it in the salon only stores where you have to have a license to get it. So it's really like Target,
Yeah.
Costco.
Yeah. Yeah. Such a
it's-
fantastic culture
Mhm.
and something I admired from the outside looking in. I've been a customer
Mhm.
long before I even met Sharon.
Oh, yeah.
Probably 20, 25 years.
Mhm.
I liked how the discipline of the hairdresser.
Mhm.
It's not something you see, unfortunately, anymore.
Mm-mm.
I think it's really rare to find someone, the young people with the discipline that Tony and Guy really made you have.
Mhm.
And it was that start from the ground up. You will be assistant and you will love that.
Mhm.
And you'll pay your dues.
Yeah,
And
but
you'll move up.
it brings like a good, like a disciplined hairdresser, right?
Yes.
And it's like a
Yes.
militant, but also a lot
professional.
of freedom, creativity in there.
The creativity is something
Yeah.
I feel.
You know,
they-
you
they
learn
really have a lot of.
their whole thing. You know, you learn the rules. Once you know the rules, you know how to break the rules.
Yeah.
You know how to adjust for the person sitting in your chair, which I feel like we're seeing a lot more. We don't see that as much anymore. We see a little bit of people who are doing kind of just like one thing and can't branch out to accommodate multiple people.
Yes.
Multiple different hair types, multiple different textures, things like that. Where Tony and Guy really touched on like everything
Yeah.
in the industry.
I would agree.
Mhm.
From a customer and someone knowing beauty.
Mhm.
Back in the day, I owned a salon in the 80s and 90s. And this was Tony and Guy hadn't really made it on the scene. It was back in the day where ABBA and Aveda,
Mhm.
those days, Paul Mitchell,
Oh yes, Paul Mitchell.
those days, those, but to see Tony and Guy hit the ground like that and really make a dent, it made you, they took it to another level. And I think, I'm hoping somebody takes that on again and implements it in the world of hairdressing because I think it's needed.
Oh,
like it's-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Discipline is good.
Discipline is good. Discipline is good.
Sometimes. In good measure.
Before we dive into, we're in California,
Mm-hmm.
everyone. So California has different rules. Although it's funny because hairdressers' rules don't really change from state to state. Is their scope
Mm-hmm.
doesn't change as much as estheticians do,
Mm-hmm.
and manicuring changes. But what has changed is online educate. They're doing it online.
Yes, lots of online education.
And another thing they're doing that's different is, Julia, what do you think of the hours? They've given you an option. Do you know about this, Julia? So you can, Julia's like, whoa. I've been a hairdresser a long time because I didn't know this.
What? Tell me.
They've they've allowed you to make choices. So you can either just do hair and not do the hours for manicuring and, the all-encompass 1,600 hours. You can just do like 900 hours or something
Okay.
and go to school just to do hair.
Okay, so I went to school in Texas. So I think even in California, it's a little different. And then because I went to Tony and Guy school, our cosmetology license just kind of touched base on the manicuring. So I don't know the traditional. Yeah.
So I guess, Sharon, do you know anything about this?
I do. So, I mean, I also went to a Tony and Guy
Like
schooling.
academy?
Academy, yes. I went to a
Okay.
Tony and Guy academy, and
We're purebreds.
yes.
From the beginning.
From the beginning. And so like but I
Wait,
mean,
this
I
was
had
their
this
school.
Yeah, this was their
a
school. A school, yes.
Okay, there was a time there where they didn't really have one in California.
No, they didn't. I want to say
It started late here in South Coast Plaza, right?
yeah. 10, 12-ish years, I think
Okay.
it's been in California. But yeah, before that, when I was looking, like I would have had to go to Texas if I
Okay.
wanted to go to a Tony and Guy school.
Okay.
But yeah, for California, up until like a couple of years ago, it was 1,600 hours, but that was like all encompassing as far as you kind of touched base with a little bit of skincare, you touched base with your nails, and you touched base with hair cutting. And then estheticians was completely separate. But as far as I was
Okay.
aware, I'm not 100% sure if there was one where you could just get manicures or if you had to kind of get both in order to be able to do nails. But the way that Tony and Guy, the academies operated, your focus was hair. Yeah. So we really, like I learned how to do acrylics, never asked me to do.
You learned for the test.
Yes, I learned for the test.
And
yeah.
the safety.
Yes, so
protocol.
we would have like basically like a month long of how to pass your state board exam, where from things that I've heard from other people who are in the industry who go to more community college schools for cosmetology or other name brand ones, if they're not so much focused on teaching you how to do hair, they're teaching you how to pass the test.
Yes.
Which are two very different things, because when you're taking the state board test, they don't care how well you're cutting the hair. They're making sure
No.
it's all about safety and about cleanliness, and that's it. So if you can show that you can do a safe haircut and you're keeping your client healthy and you're not cross-contaminating things, that could be the worst haircut on the planet, and you can get your license.
Yes, you just gotta be safe.
You just gotta be safe. You gotta be safe, and you gotta be clean.
Well, that's what I think's changed, and somebody can check me on this. But I think they've taken away the in-person test.
Okay.
It's gone.
So it's just
I think it's just written
online.
now. Okay. Yeah.
So I question how you can make sure somebody can do both. But that's been changed. And so with that, I think that is a transition for the industry. I think you're going to see, you guys are probably saw it in a lot of, not to bring up any bad blood or anything, but in the new assistants that come in.
Oh, yeah.
There's
I
hey, just go there. You don't have to name names.
No, but it's interesting though, because I mean, we're in a sweet situation now.
Yes.
Which I'm actually surprised how much I do enjoy it. But one of the things that did kind of happen with COVID was it stopped a lot of people from being able to go and get their cosmetology license.
Yes.
And it stopped a lot of people from having options who had just gotten their cosmetology license to go and work at a salon, because a lot of salons were closed. We were closed 3 separate times. And we were closed 9 months, 7 to 9 months
You
out of
guys
the
were-
entire year,
Yeah.
out of 2020. Like, it was crazy. And so what I feel like we saw were people that had recently gotten their license were going into suite locations. And if you have a good online presence, if you can, showcase, your work well, you can style it well, and you can push that out. And if you really know how to use social media to your advantage, you can get people to come in without really having a referral as to like, well, I don't know anyone who goes here, but like, look at these pictures are so beautiful. And so I feel like we had a lot of people, a lot of kids, or not kids, but a lot of people who were just out of cosmetology school who went that route and were able to build up a clientele.
They had an advantage.
Oh, 100%.
Because there's people that want their hair done and their hairdressers are MIA.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And they're like, taking advantage of this.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I'm sure I, had clients that found somebody that did that when I, couldn't provide that kind of, isolated service for them. And then I also feel like, but then the flip side of that is that when we did return, I definitely gained a lot of new clients from, especially with working at a salon that was so well known. You had a lot of clients come in who had bad experiences. Because
in the back alley,
yes, because
back alley hairdressing,
because the education wasn't there. The education to fix mistakes, even if they're easy mistakes, the education wasn't there. The confidence wasn't there to be able to explain to a client why something went wrong and how we can make it right, kind of thing.
Yeah,
like especially working at the salon in Fashion Island with the Tony and Guy name. You would get a lot of people that would come in which was always really surprising to me because they would never, if something went wrong with, somewhere else that they went, they never seemed to want to fix it with them. They would be like, well, I'm just going to go to Tony and Guy, they can fix it. And I'm like, but when we make it, whenever we make a mistake, you guys come back to us for us to fix it. Why are we not, where's the miscommunication? So I feel like it's an interesting kind of, we have that training. We have the customer service training. We have the knowledge behind
the team.
Oh, absolutely.
So you have like a whole team in there
absolutely.
of people you can go to.
Oh yeah, we have. I mean, every Tony and Guy would have. Yeah, we would have a cutting. I mean, not only do we have like the management team, but you would have your cutting educators. You would have your color educators. And just your coworkers to be like, hey.
Yeah, somebody to bounce ideas
like,
off.
Can you come look at this? Can you come do a little drive-by? Like, tell me what you think.
Which is fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's why we're still together.
Yeah, but it's a really nice community. And I mean, that was one of the things when our salon closed was why I wanted a community of hairdressers to kind of, bounce ideas off of. I like seeing other people's work. I like, getting inspiration and I like seeing people do things
keeps you relevant.
100%.
Check.
Like I love seeing some of the work that Julia does. It's like I don't necessarily want to do that work, but I love seeing it. Like I love seeing like the different creativity that comes out of other people.
Speaking of that, Miss Julia over here, I'm calling you that because I have a really good friend named Julia. I call her Miss Julia because she's earned it. You do some pretty fun stuff now that Sharon's. You do New York Fashion Week.
Sometimes, yeah.
Don't be shy.
She's being very modest.
Be shy. You get to work on models that walk down the runway.
Yes.
So tell us about that experience and what.
Well, like I'm small peanuts.
Hey,
I'm on the bottom of the ladder. But yeah, I'm grateful for like the like where life has brought me, where I worked very hard to get to, because I get to be around other hairdressers that are like in a different position than like being inside of a salon. So I get to see runway, I get to see commercial work.
Creativity.
Yeah,
different.
and it's just such different hair. So when I go to work with, like these agency hairdressers, like I come back and I'm like, oh my God, how can I apply this to my client? How can I do this to my own hair? How can I like recreate something that I learned? So
now, Julie, when you
really
go
fun.
do these things, do they tell you what look they want and you recreate it? Is that kind of how it works with a runway
for
model?
Runway, so for the runway, it's the key hairstylist that is working with the designer. So designer picks their team, right? Like the stylist, the hairdresser, the makeup, the key, and then they have a team of their own. So they talk about like, this is the look, this is the model, this is the woman that I'm trying to create on the runway. And then the hair, there's a test day. So we work with the makeup artist, the hairstylist, and the stylist, looking at clothes, creating the hair, creating the makeup look. And then when the runway day comes,
You gotta recreate that.
yeah, but we, majority of the time, the key will demo a look, like the hardest look or a couple of looks. We have a board. It's very disorganized and organized at the same time.
Which would be how hairdresser and this world works, right?
And
We're all creatives.
Yeah.
And it's incredible because it's like amidst the chaos, I tell people, like, I feel like Neo from Matrix, when he's like dodging bullets. Because to me, it's like everything just slows down and you're like, I have to focus.
Yeah.
And so they kind of show you, and then you start recreating the look, and then the finishes touches, you go check it with the key or their helper, like their first assistant. And it's like, 3 hours, 4 hours of prep, couple of days of prep. Then for other people, it's like a month of prep or more. And then 10 minutes, the show is done. The model goes, and then that's it.
Pat on the back.
Yeah.
After that.
But thankfully, we have YouTube and we can look at pictures on Instagram, and you can.
Do they allow you to
it.
keep some of that creative, those photos and things, and put your name on that? Is
A
acceptable
majority of the time, the people that get the credit is the key hairstylists because they are the hire. And like I said, that's why I'm like, I'm just like, crumb in the ocean.
Because there are a ton of hairdressers right now that would love to be in your position.
Shoot, I would love to be in your position. Are you kidding?
I mean, share a little bit about how that came about. Was that through your Tony and Guy experience?
I would.
Or was it a connection?
How do I word this?
Was it a boyfriend?
No. It was a lot of work. Like, I think, like, okay, obviously Tony and Guy is the inspiration. They're everything. They taught me everything, all that. I had to also do a lot of, like, things outside on my own with teams that I found to, like, build a portfolio. It's a lot of, like, free work because, but it's gratifying, rewarding work because I get to be creative. And again, I get to keep, like, something that I created on a photograph, which is, like,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like a painter,
Oh my gosh, her portfolio is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
It is.
And we're going to have that in the show notes so people can go to your...
Oh, gosh.
Listen, this is why she's a behind the scenes. She lets the model walk out and do it because she's very... a little bit shy when it comes to building her up a little bit. But that's what makes you so awesome and creative. And you're able to give all that confidence and put it out there. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like doing it. Like, it's where I thrive, so I enjoy it, and I love looking back at my work. But yeah, it's definitely, like, I think that I'm flushing red.
Well, you traveled abroad as well. Got to do some abroad stuff.
Yeah, I've done London, I've done New York. I tried to do Paris, that failed.
Not because of you, though.
No.
Yeah. But it's okay, it's fine. But and I've done, like, numerous campaigns as an assistant, which has been, like, I'm super humbled. I worked to build a portfolio. I got lucky. I got picked to be an assistant to somebody that is signed with an agency, so I'm able to, like, continue being an assistant to this agency and to other hairdressers that are signed to this agency. So it gives me a lot of opportunities. And then along that, it trickles down where I find opportunities. It's networking, it's making friends. It's, it's like all connections and
connections.
I try to be genuine.
Yes.
I'm not,
But, life is like that, right? You can be really want something and a connection walks in the door. You took it.
Yeah.
You have to look at an opportunity and say, I gotta invest in this. Maybe I'm not gonna make money right away. That's what I would tell the young girls. It's like, if this is something you want to do, then put the time in. Put the time in, get good at it, make connections, network.
Yeah.
learn.
And like, just be genuine. Like, don't use people because at the end of the day, the people that are like the users, they come to surface.
Givers win.
Yeah, I think so.
Givers
I
win.
hope so.
What do you guys think about mentorship in your field? Or do you guys, if somebody came to you and wanted to work for you guys and learn under you, is that still a thing now? Or is that, do hairdressers, are they looking for that?
I feel like yes, still.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
'Cause, yeah, even people,
But not for free. They want to be paid.
everybody
right?
wants to get paid.
Everyone
They
wants
should get
to-
paid.
They should get paid.
Because they
yes.
are
Everybody should get
licensed.
paid. Yes, they are
Nowadays,
licensed.
they have to be
economy.
licensed.
Yes. Yeah, so I
pay
feel
for
like
their
if you're doing like unpaid, there has to be a pretty decent trade-off
Yeah.
to justify, the not getting paid. Whether that be, you can use my space free of charge to do, your own people when I'm not there, in exchange for, all of this education that I'm giving you, things like that. I feel like would be, like the balance has to be there.
It's really interesting because it's totally opposite in my industry, or I'm in multiple different industries, but in the aesthetics, people will sell their child to get free time with someone that they'll spend 6 months doing it for free so they can learn. Isn't that amazing?
So
They
you-
won't
you-
charge it. They don't want to get paid. They're usually paying you.
And
Yeah,
there's no
isn't that-
classes like you can take, like advanced education. Is that
There
what you're
is,
saying?
and that's
okay.
becoming more and more.
Okay.
But really, it's interesting because people will pay to come spend the day, thousands of dollars.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, how can I need this.
So I think it's because it's in its infancy, and there are just a few founding fathers in that world. I mean, aesthetics is very new, and hairdressers are the OGs.
Yep.
So people look at it differently now,
Oh, absolutely.
completely differently.
I feel like for hairdressing, I feel like you would have to be on you would have to have a really high platform in order for somebody to be like, I will pay you to teach me, kind of thing. Or to do like how you have people come in and pay you to kind of shadow you. Where I think for the majority of hairdressers, like, we want to share the education. We want to, help other people grow, but we have to pay them to
Yes.
to help us.
Yes.
Where there's like the 1% of hairdressers that can come into the industry and be like, yeah, no, you pay me and you can shadow me.
What about, shadow you. I
Shadow.
mean, I would imagine girls that are interested in being in this world, would you be open to a day that they could spend with you and they could pay you? They're not hairdressers yet. It's worth your time to sit and watch you and shadow you. I mean, I think those are great resources
not?
for. Yes, Julia's like,
Let's hang out.
let's hang out. Come
The
on
more
in.
the merrier.
No, I
Because
think
that's
that would. I
a
think that
great
would be.
move.
I think that would be great. I know the one kind of concern that just kind of like comes to the back of my mind is for like anyone that kind of comes into if you're dealing at any level with the hair, you have to have a license in California.
So they can't. But what if they just came in and watched?
If they
and
just
asked you
came in and watched,
questions?
I would
Yeah,
be like,
They can't. They can't
That's
touch
what I-
the
they
client.
Yeah, I'm
You need
like,
to-
you can't touch the client. I'd be like, this is a just visual learning today.
and I think I love that you guys are giggling because I giggle sometimes too in my industry because
Oh, yeah.
people are doing this and spending $2,000-$3,000 to even see if this is what they want to do.
Which is, I think, is good because in like going to school, like
Takes a long
we
time
went
to be a hairdresser.
It's and money, and then like
Yeah.
I remember like my beginning class, it started trickling down. Like every month we would have somebody quit, and then even the people that I graduated with, there's only like I don't know, like 3 of us that are doing hair still. And the others just spent all that time, all that money, and then they're doing some other career. And it's like, it'd be better if you can just kind of go watch
You kind of
and
know.
get a feel.
And
That
it's
would be
different than
great.
getting your hair done by your hairdresser
Oh yeah.
and being in their vibe because they're all about you
Oh,
at
yeah.
the time, right?
Very much so.
That's what you're supposed to be.
100%.
It's all focused on the client. And so to be in a world where they're able to sit there and see different for instance, that's why you wanted to do what you wanted to do. Your mom
Yeah.
was messing around, doing stuff, wanted to do this. And you got to see that work and that drive and what it was all about and interest you.
Yeah.
So
it was creative.
I think that both of you guys should offer an opening shadow day. And I would definitely shadow them because you have, I mean, really, if you're interested, you're a young girl or you're a mom that wants to find something else to do and you really want to see the dark and dirty, ask the questions. I mean, you get that time with you guys.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
a working lunch. They could chat with you guys during the lunch
Yeah.
where you guys aren't seeing patients and they could ask questions. I mean, that's invaluable information. I want you guys to start shadow days. Right?
You know what?
I have seen, there's a couple of
Great idea.
girls that I follow on social media, and I know some of them every now and then will kind of post that they do something similar to this. And they kind of categorize it in like different levels depending on how much information you want to get. So I know, because like one of them, you know, she's like, you know, I'll take one massive appointment, you know, and it's a very, not necessarily hands-on, but it's a very one-on-one. We're going to take our time. You're going to really learn what's going on in an entire day. And then there's other ones where it's like, this is fast-paced. You're kind of just getting the basics and kind of just seeing, you know, okay, I'm going to do 6 clients in like a 5-hour period. We're going to be really, really moving. So the information that you're going to get is going to be very quick speed. And if you're not really paying attention to it, you're going to miss some things. Some things are going to get, you know, blown over. But yeah, they kind of base it off, you know, how in depth do you want to be? And like, they have options for you. Yeah.
There you go.
And then there's ones where it's like, you know, like there's going to be downtime where we can really, really discuss, you know, all the ends of hairdressing.
All right, everybody, let's talk about getting that glow. Introducing Glow Girl, my secret weapon for dewy, hydrated, and gorgeous skin. And it's not just for women. I'm actually thinking about changing the name because most of my male clients use this product and they love it too. It's packed with hyaluronic acid, which basically means it's gonna lock in that moisture and give you that plump, fresh look we all love. So if you're tired of dull, dry skin, this is the game changer. It's lightweight, non-greasy, and works like a dream under the makeup. Whether you want to boost your glow or hydrate throughout the day, Glow Girl has your back. So what are you waiting for? Click the link and grab your bottle now. Trust me, your skin will thank you, and so do we.
I think a fast pace, keep your regular schedule and give them a lunch.
Yeah.
No lunches.
No, I know. We don't have lunches.
Oh my God, I don't do lunch.
Let's get real.
Every assistant I've ever had, and I love them. In the state of California, please don't get mad at me for this.
Oh, I know.
In our industry,
we
There's no
we
lunches.
don't.
or you eat like in like a
Yes.
breath.
Oh, I am like the fastest eater.
Which is so terrible.
Just like inhale
Nurses are the
food.
same nurses.
Yes.
And as to anybody in the beauty industry, I mean, why break, right?
Yeah, sometimes we don't even drink all day.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it's so
Bladder
dehydrated.
infections. I mean, it's a nightmare.
Yeah. No
Oh, yeah,
bathroom
I've got 6
breaks.
hours and I'm like, God, something's wrong. And I like take a sip of my, you know, like my water and I'm like, oh, I'm dehydrated. That's
Yes.
what it is.
So that's a good insight to newbies.
Yes.
Just state board
looking into it.
closure.
You've got to suck it up, man. Even though the state tells you get 10-minute breaks here, you're not always going to be able to do that when
Yeah,
you
no
have your own
lawyers watch
business
us right now.
Yes, no lawyer. Don't come after us. It's just what happens in the world. We're trying.
Be
We're
like,
trying.
I take all my breaks.
We do. We do. Anyways, I've got some more questions for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to I have my little note. All right. I think we talked about okay, we already kind of talked about that. I talked about the Tony and Guy. Is the traditional hair salon dying? The big there you go.
Yeah.
I already knew what you guys were gonna say.
I really wish that it wasn't.
Yeah. Same.
I do really wish that it wasn't because I loved. I mean, honestly, if Tony and Guy had not, if my salon in Fashion
You
Island,
would have been there
I would
till
have
the end,
died. I would have
Sharon.
died there. You had to drag. I mean, even to the very end. I waited so long to pick a salon because I didn't want to go. I was like,
Guys, we're talking about the big salons
big
with like
salon.
10, 40
Yes.
stylists. They're all independent.
everyone's
basically, but
loud, and you know, I'm one of them.
The energy is fantastic.
Yes. The like assistants are running around with their heads cut off. Like everyone, just you're being pulled in a million different directions. You're hearing 50 different conversations, and I love that. I really, really do love that. I love but I like it when it's a team environment. And Tony and I really did build a team environment. You are, these are.
There wasn't cattiness.
Yeah, there's not cattiness. And if it is, there's like, it comes with a side of like, we're kidding, you know? I had plenty of other
Customers
coworkers
didn't see that though.
No, oh my gosh, no.
No, Tony and I was.
We were pretty
good.
professional. Maybe like really, really early on in the day, clients maybe saw a bit of the
When you're trying to get your space that you wanted to work.
Yes.
They're hungover.
Yes.
There's that.
Saturday at 8 a.m.
Lot of party
is rough.
those hairdressers.
Is rough for you guys. I know. Just tame it back now with social media. My clients cannot see this. Like they have 8 a.m.s tomorrow. They're gonna be like, "You're tired, sure." I definitely think the big salon spaces they're going out. The independent, the suites where we are now are definitely, they seem to be the way of the future for hairdressing.
Do you think the pendulum will swing at some point?
I think maybe, because I do kind of feel like there's going to be a point where the lack of hands-on education and the lack of immediate bouncing off.
Yes, immediate.
With because that's the thing. You can find out, you can Google, you can YouTube, you can, get on Instagram and ask people things. But the immediate, I have a person in my chair, should I go this ash or should I not go this much ash?
And a person you trust.
Yes. When you're in the moment, you can't take, an hour to go find out.
Excuse me, I'm going to go on TikTok.
Yeah, like I'm going to go watch a video on how to do this exact service. I do kind of think that there will be a slight shift back to salon environments, but I feel like it's going to be more of a really high-end salon environment.
It'll be okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Okay.
People get lonely too.
They do
get lonely.
It's like I love sharing with Sharon.
Yes. Like it's person specific.
Yeah, but like the suite, because it's like we get like a little bit of the salon environment, so and I can bounce ideas off of her when she's there. But but it's like even when like I'm alone there, I can see it getting lonely, and we're like creatures of like community.
So
we have our suite. I keep the door open because I like hearing that there's
noise,
yes,
the
I like
environment.
hearing a little bit
Like
of
a liveliness.
that there's other people here, even though I don't know, almost like I would say like 70% of the other people. The space that we work in has 60 units. And multiple of those units have more than one person working in them not necessarily at the same time, but in general. So there's a lot of people there that I don't know. So it's not like I would be going out and, saying, hey, I have a quick question for you. Because I have no idea what their training is, what their background is. But I do like the noise of knowing there's other people.
It is fun
around
that way. And as a God, do they call them patrons? Do you remember back in the day? We were patrons.
Your clients.
We call them clients now.
Yes, clients, guests. Yes, your guest is here.
Your guest is here.
You're 2 o'clock. Your 2 o'clock's here. You're just a time.
You're just a time. 2:30 is right behind.
2:30 is right behind.
You don't want to be that hairdresser. Okay, so the dark and dirty of the industry. So,
There is none. We're just
it's a beautiful, beautiful industry.
it is. No, it's more about the damage. What can damage someone's hair the most? So I know that we have straightening and we have all these things that people are doing. Is there something out there that you guys are a buzz to that people are doing that they shouldn't be doing, or they should think twice before doing it?
So, I would definitely say I would really, really, really highly advise against at-home bleaching. However, there are people that can do it and that do it well. So, it's not, I'm not saying it's, you have, I definitely recommend that you go see somebody to at-home bleach your hair. But there are people on the internet that have proven me wrong. But there's also a lot of people on the internet who have lost all of their hair because they do it multiple times in one sitting, which is just so not good. But one thing that I would say that some people may or may not agree with, but I feel like one of the big things that is kind of not always talked about is switching hairdressers.
All the time.
All the time.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're looking for very drastic color changes. There are definitely stylists that do 8+ hour color corrections in a day. I am not that person. I cannot talk to you for 9 hours. Like, that is just way too much. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Too much with one person.
I'm
Sharon, I love you, but I'm not spending 8 hours in your chair.
I love all of my clients. I don't want to sit with you for 9 hours. It's a really, really long time.
And
This one can do it.
I was just going to say, this one's
one
got
will do
that,
it, yeah.
this one, her personality.
Yes. Oh, 100%. And I'm like, let's break it up. I think it's a lot of times better to break it up for the health of the hair. But one of the things that why I recommend is that if you decide that you're going to, break it up and do the stages, you have to commit to the one person, because that one person has a plan how they're going to get you to that next level. And no matter what your consultation is with that one person, and you make this plan where this is what we're going to do, if you don't come back for that second appointment and then you're going to another person, there's going to be information in that first consultation that you are not giving to the next person, or that your hairdresser has given to you that you don't remember, and things are going to get missed. And then you see a lot more damage in the hair, and you do also tend to feel like people don't get the results that they're looking for, because then you're using two different brains. Like, okay, I have a path. We could have the same end goal, but like our path to get there might not be the same. And there's a million different ways that you can get there, but the key is to stay with the one person.
I think that's great advice, actually, because that's gets people into a lot of trouble. I know people that do that.
Patience.
Oh, yeah. Chronic offenders.
Yes.
Patience.
They're chronic offenders.
Yes.
Okay. So the new thing that's happening, and I don't know if you girls are aware of it, but it's quite the thing here in California. And I talked about it in our last podcast, and that is the scalp massage locations.
Oh, I've done it.
I know. You love it.
But you know what? I have scalp issues. I have scalp dermatitis. So I kind of always have like a little bit of dandruff. Dandruff shampoo doesn't do anything. It's a full-blown like medical condition. It doesn't go away. It's basically I have to manage it. And I thought it was really, really relaxing. I had a client ask me, maybe it was your client when I was there. Somebody was asking if their husband would enjoy it. And because he has scalp issues. And I was like, it would be beneficial. If he's going to enjoy it is another thing, because it's basically an hour and a half of getting your head washed and shampooed. And I mean, they do other things, which is magical. But it's an hour and a half of just head massaging.
There's controversy though.
Oh,
with you hairdressers, and that is that people
jealous?
are doing this.
I'm not jealous. Just other hairdressers are jealous.
I know very few hairdressers that love the shampoo part. By the way,
oh yeah, that's a big assistant role.
Yes, that's getting in the way of their creativity.
Yes.
Okay, but they're pretty upset about. There's a handful of them that estheticians are doing this, or people that are non-licensed are opening up these.
Oh.
So it's quite a bit of a ruckus.
I would imagine that is super against California cosmetology code.
Yes.
Because I mean, if my assistant who's like blow drying somebody can't touch somebody's hair without a license, you definitely cannot be giving somebody an hour and a half like scalp head massage. Because I mean, you are shampooing. It's all done. It's all done majoritively in a shampoo bowl.
Yeah, because does California have the pre-license license? Because I remember having to get that.
Sounds like a Texas thing.
I don't know.
Texas.
Yeah. Because it's like an assistant license or something. I can't remember. It's been like over a decade.
I think they're upset about people out of their, like they went to school to do this and they can't even have an assistant wash somebody's hair in their salon unless you have a license.
You have a license.
So there's a lot of these
Texas
places
has
opening
that.
up. and they're doing.
I think it's a shampooing
$200
license.
for an
That's what
hour.
it was.
Oh, I don't think California has that.
Oh, you guys are missing
I know
out.
the one kind of exception to the assistant having a license thing in California is you can, instead of but your salon, you have, like, you as the educator have to be like accredited in some way by the state of California. But you can come to a salon, and if that person will sign whatever they have to do for the state of California.
I think they have to. I think they have to be an educator, though.
Yeah, you can skip cosmetology school in California and just assist somebody. But there's a lot of regulations with it, because I know we would get people who were coming from other countries to Tony and Guy, and they're like, hey, I have my license in this country. Can I just assist you to get my license here? And we never did it. There was too much. There's too much things with the state that it's not beneficial. It wasn't beneficial to us. Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
but yeah, I would feel like that's like the only way to kind of get around your assistant not having a license. But that's surprising to me. I know. Let me see. I know some people who we used to work with that have gone and gotten their trichology license, that are just now, that are only focusing on the scalp therapy, the hair loss therapies, but they have their cosmetology license. But I know there's a lot coming out. There's a lot of education coming out of South Korea, Japan, for the scalp therapies.
Scalp therapy.
Yeah.
It's good. It's been so overlooked.
It has.
Yes.
It has. And it's a really important factor. So it's kind of cool. It's come around. All right, Julia. What's the most annoying thing a client does in your chair?
The most annoying thing that a client does.
I know. I could answer that.
Okay,
Let
you go
her-
first.
No, Julia.
Oh, God.
She just doesn't want to say it.
You know what? I think for me, even if you start doing annoying things, I take it as like this weird Zen practice where I'm like,
They're really comfortable
this
with
is
you.
a challenge for me to overcome this.
Oh, it's your problem.
Within myself. So I'm going to allow you to do this annoying thing, whatever that may be. And I'm going to be okay with it. Because I know like people hate, like sometimes I've heard people go like, oh, I hate when they chew gum because the scalp keeps moving.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
Oh,
a Tony
that
and Guy
makes
thing.
sense.
I don't know. Because, we have to have like the perfect lines. And I'm like, I don't care about that. Eating, does eating count?
Eating counts,
I just
baby.
worry about all the hair that you're getting, or like the bleach that I'm like spraying accidentally into.
My last hair appointment, I was eating while she was doing it. I was getting my hair colored and I was eating. I was terrible.
Yeah, but the thing is, like we do it too, so it's like hypocrites.
I eat.
But yeah, so it's like, it's whatever. Because also like I'm so I don't care about hair in my food anymore. I just like
Whatever.
move that
I'm just like
hair
next
away.
bite.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, like I'm sure you guys, expose fur balls in some way.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
In your life, you can't get away from it,
100%.
right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I just take it on as
when
like
somebody went.
oh, like right after you like blow dry it and you're like setting it, and then
They try to correct it.
Yes.
or not correct it, but like
Like
touch
they keep
it.
touching it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
annoying, huh? I love that.
I remember one time I had to take over a client one time. Do you remember this?
From me.
Yeah. She kept touching this piece that you were trying to comb. And I had to like step in and like take over because she was like, I don't want her touching my hair anymore, because you were like, could you please stop I'm trying to work. And it was like it was like me and you were the only two people left in the salon that day, and I was like, okay.
See, I blacked out.
You black that out.
I guess so.
Yeah,
So-
sometimes it's easy. It's just easier to like
This never happened.
yeah, that didn't happen.
It didn't happen. They can be annoying.
Yeah, I've
Lights
had
can be
people
annoying.
start shampooing their own hair in the shampoo bowl because
I've had that.
I wasn't doing a good enough job.
Yes.
What about how long am I gonna
things happen.
be?
Oh.
You know what? This only hurts you. This only hurts
does.
you.
And in all honesty, if you have time constraints, like
don't
like
do
halfway
color.
halfway
or
through your
anything.
color service is not the time that I need to know that like you have to be out in 30 minutes.
And
Um,
and if you want to be like platinum blonde and ask me, are we done yet? Or is it like, is 20 minutes enough? And
Yes.
I just got done applying.
yeah.
The
Okay.
importance of the timing of the bleach.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Sit
I
in
don't
your
think it's
chair with your
annoying.
foils
Yes.
and wait.
Like it's a waiting game because it's not like if you're doing like all over color, it processes for 35, an extra 5-10 if you have really, really resistant gray. But it's like, okay, this is how long it takes. Bleach, like everyone is kind of different. If you have natural hair where it's never had any color on it, it might be a little bit on
This
the
is
quicker
where
side.
experts come in, guys.
Yes,
Don't
like
be
it-
TikTok.
Yes, it might be on the quicker side, but if you have other color buildup, the bleach it needs time to get to where you want to be. So sometimes, sometimes it's 20 minutes. I have some clients that process, with bleach on their hair for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and it's like, all right, we're good to go. But they're already starting at a really, really, really late stage. Where
It just gives me anxiety.
It's time. But yeah, like
And then I
for
pull
me,
it
like
earlier, and then we're like,
yeah. So for me, I would say 95% of my clients, I can give you an exact, this is how long your appointment is going to take. So the like, oh, we're gonna be out in like 5 minutes, right? I'm like, no, like I could tell you that before the appointment. I could be like, hey, are we on a time constraint because you're gonna be here for 4 hours.
What about, I'm going to tackle this real quick, and I've got a couple more questions and we'll be done. The person with the shorter hair versus the longer hair wants to know why their price is the same as the person with the long hair.
So we used to work with the legendary David Evans, and who has been in the industry forever. He is phenomenal. We used to call him the Yoda of hairdressing. And he was one of my
I've
educators.
had David
yes.
before.
So he used to tell me, and he tells clients this: you are not paying for the hair on the ground. You are paying for the hair on your head.
I love that. I love that. Well, it's the same amount of time, really.
and
I
same
mean,
education.
same
That I
education.
spent
Yes.
Yeah.
money on also.
So like a trim is the same as a haircut. I do a distinction if a client is if they're my regular client, if you're just coming in to clean up your bangs, I do it for free. For guys, I'll clean up their neckline for free as long as they're my regular clients. If they're not, it's like a very, very, nominal little fee. But yeah, you're paying for what I'm leaving on, not what I'm taking off.
Okay. Natural, I'm going to run through these quick. Natural curly hair, Julia.
Love it.
It's beautiful.
Is that a specialty cut? Is that somebody that needs to know what they're doing? Experienced? Or they just need to do a lot of curly hair?
I think if you're doing hair, you need to know what you're doing. It doesn't matter the texture. You just need to know, right?
Because I know I
We
have
don't
a curly-headed
discriminate.
friend over there
Yeah.
who's had some bad experiences.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
and I think there's it's a lack of education, a lack of like confidence building maybe from your own self, from the teacher, and maybe the teacher didn't know. And I think there's a lack of education also for curls in the industry.
Yeah.
I think it's changing now, which I think is good. But yeah, and then I even remember one of my teachers said, "You can't mess up curly hair; it hides everything well." And I'm like,
It can, but you can still mess it up.
You can mess
you
it
can
up.
You can
mess it up
absolutely
if
mess
you
it
don't
What
know
about
what
the
you're doing.
spiral perm? Is it coming back?
I think all sperms are coming back.
sperms.
Come
Yeah.
on, like
They're in, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
That smelly, stinky
For the
perm you're gonna have.
guys especially, the guys are big
Oh,
right now. I mean, I had
The
my
perms for
yeah.
the dudes.
I had a client that brought me her 13-year-old, and I mean, I had to tell him like, we're not perming your hair today. But he was like, can you make my hair? He's like, I want this haircut really, really curly, and I'm like, yeah, we're not
This was
perming.
super popular in the 80s.
Oh
And then,
yes.
All my guy friends had perms,
Oh yeah.
and it was very popular. So they're here, huh? It's
They-
happening. It's current.
Yeah, I would say though, I mean, I feel like, gosh, the last 10 years though, I feel like I always kind of see perms are coming back, perms are coming back, perms are coming back. I feel like we are still really only seeing it in like a very small
like areas, right?
small group. I mean, I am definitely seeing it a lot with like with males, with like the young teenage kids wanting the really curly hair. But I'm also, it's still certain people. I mean, there's also certain people that like we can't perm your hair. Like Jerry, I can't perm your hair. You got way too much bleach in it. It wouldn't. Yeah.
This is natural.
Natural. We spend a lot of time together for
very
Jerry's
naturally
natural
done.
hair. Yeah.
She just gets bank trims, remember?
But I just went from blonde.
Oh, I know.
Platinum blonde to brunette. Like my hair would just fry off if we bleached my hair. Like there's we couldn't bleach her hair or not bleach, perm her hair. Yeah. So there's still like a lot of people where it's like who might want it, but like we can do it.
What's the trends for dudes besides perms? Like the 20. Like the guy sitting right here. What are we going to do for them?
The mop on top is still, it's like coming back. And like, I mean, my childhood crush, the middle part and like the sweep. Like,
that's happening, huh?
Yeah.
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
what the heck is going on?
Straight. So we're going from
Yeah.
like either curly to like, we're going back to that straight middle part.
Yeah, middle part with like
feather.
swoop.
Because
Yeah.
it's Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Like,
No, this is like an actual person I went to like elementary.
but also like, wasn't he the one like a few years
Oh
ago?
yeah. Like early
Right?
DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about bleaching for guys at all? Can guys lighten their hair at all?
They can do
Okay, that's
whatever
what
they want.
Yeah, I feel like that. I feel like
they
we
can
are
do it
kind
all.
of in.
I give them permission.
Yeah, I feel like we're in a time period with hairdressing where it's like do what makes you happy and do what makes you feel good about yourself. I mean, I'll have clients that come in and like, what are the trends? And I'm like, just
do what you
want.
You.
Yeah, do you. Like, do you. Like, because there are, there's always going to be some type of trends, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to want to do
Or it
that
looks good
trend.
on you.
Yes, or that it looks good.
You want to look that's why you got to have a
Yeah.
good hairdresser too that can identify the shape of your face and
Yes.
understands that because
Yeah.
they could give you something and you could just not look good.
Yeah, so I'm very big on like, what are you going to manage at home? I don't want to give you a style that like you're never ever going to recreate this back at home as well. So, what's your maintenance at home? Let's work with that because that's how you're going to look good every day. Like we want you to look good. We want you, your
recreate.
Yeah, like we want
our
you to be able to
work.
recreate like what we do in the salon.
Yeah. And yeah, I get a lot of androgyny too. So like from men and women and in between, whatever.
Yeah, in between,
Yeah.
whatever, like you said,
Yeah.
whatever
Androgyny.
fits.
Yeah. But yeah, just self-confidence, boosting it. And
Yeah.
like-
Are you judging right now the crew here and their haircuts?
No, I'm
Do you
looking
guys
at
judge?
you. I am just
Do you guys judge?
You know
Like,
what?
can you not help it? Like, even internally?
I cringe only.
You know what? I don't. There are certain points where I cringe. It's very, very rare though. But my one big thing is I notice men's necklines.
yes.
That is
yes.
gross.
I notice when men need a haircut, or I'm like, you just need some. Because I have male clients that have their own trimmers and do their own necks because I've never had them come in with needing their necks cleaned
Or their
up.
partner, right?
Or their partner. And then the one thing that I do notice with women is the back here, where if you have a really aggressive cowlick, that part's really low back and it opens up. I can't not notice it. You don't have it. It's okay.
Come on, Sharon.
But yeah, that one, no, you don't have it. I promise. That is one where I'm not necessarily cringing, but I notice it. I'm like, I really just wish I had a round brush to just, whoosh that, fix that real quick.
Yeah, I just
But
want
you can't go
everyone
around
in my-
touching. You can't go around touching everyone's hair. So don't do that.
Let me fix this.
Yeah. And if you do, you have to be like, I'm a hairdresser.
I am licensed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Help these people out,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the glass hair. You guys heard of that?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? I mean, is it people are going to be able to do that at home? Is that real? Or is that
I mean,
hairdresser magic behind the scenes?
hairdresser
it's hairdresser magic. Yeah.
But I've
a-
had it requested for sure.
Yeah, it's really, really challenging. I have a girlfriend. She buys everything I tell her to buy. does all the stuff. And every time she comes in, she's like, my hair never looks and feels the way that you do it. And to me, I mean, the products help. I'm not saying products don't help. The amount of time that you spend with a round brush is the key.
Absolutely.
It's the key.
Uh-huh.
I can't do my hair the way my friends do my hair.
Yeah.
And I
It's
do this
always
for a
better
living.
when somebody else does it.
Yeah, I don't have the arm strength to, when you're doing your own hair,
The
you're
angle.
you're lifting your arms above your heart rate. It's a workout. It's work for you, or it's not. I mean, it is work for us, but it's not quite as much work. And the amount of times you go through with that round brush to get it to feel that just that gloss, you are sealing down that cuticle so aggressively, it's all in that round brush. And it's why when you think your hair's dry and we're still going, that's why.
When you guys now have your own businesses, any trials and tribulations with that business side wise? Is there anything new that has kind of hit you owning your own business
Yeah,
now?
trying to get an apartment.
Yeah.
I don't have a paycheck anymore. And they're
Yes.
like, you're volatile. We can't trust you. Even though you've been doing this for like 15 years,
Right.
it doesn't matter.
You're
That
absolutely
is
right.
so hard.
What are you going to do to navigate that? What's your plan?
I'm going to go cry and keep praying.
Oh man,
Yeah, wish me the best.
there are
If anybody is ready.
Referral letter.
Yeah,
referral
Yeah, I
letters.
think referral letters is my route right now.
Did you set up as a sole proprietor? Are you
Yes,
set up that
yeah.
way? You have your sole proprietor bank account, right? Okay. You're chugging along here. You're moving along. It too shall happen. They won't take a P&L statement. They won't take from a CPA.
We're gonna keep trying.
Yeah. This is good information because people need to know, once they're not working for someone else, it does become
It does.
an issue.
Yeah. I know. Well, I like if you're, going to buy a house, you need to have, sometimes it's better to have more income.
Yes.
For those
Most of the
for,
time in
yeah,
California.
for most of the time, that's where you kind of want to show like, hey, yes, I can afford this. But yeah, 2 years basically is kind of like your financial life that they kind of need a history of before they're like, okay, yeah, we can trust you. We can trust what you're doing.
It's true. But recommendations to, I think, sole proprietorship, right? Get your bank account opened and put your money in that bank account so you have proof that you have income. Those are kind of things for the newbies out there because I want people to be encouraged to open up their own business and be an entrepreneur, like that minded person.
Yeah, no,
where
it's
they're like, I
great.
want to be independent.
Yeah.
And there are obstacles, and I think that's what shuts people down. What about insurance, guys? Do you guys carry insurance? How does that work in the hairdresser field?
So our building has insurance. So we're insured through like an umbrella policy with them, which is great. And then we each have our own like private as well.
And that in case you fry somebody's scalp, it covers
Yeah,
you, right?
you make anybody mad, or
Yeah. You're protected.
God forbid you cut
Right?
a little bit too much off for and you can't rectify the situation in
It's
any
a good
other
thing
way
that grows
besides-
back
I
out.
know.
By the time you get to court, that hair will be grown back out.
You know,
No,
like I don't know what you're talking about.
But these are important. If you're going to be, it's not that big of a deal to start your own thing. But I want the new people to leave with advice that there are things that you're going to have to do and
Yes.
sacrifice, like
Oh yeah.
like buying things. It might take a while to do that, so you want to set yourself up a little bit for that.
And I mean that's one. I mean, especially in like this in the sweet life that we're in right now, is there's so much more buying that we have to do that we didn't have to do when we were working, when she was renting at a different salon.
budgeting,
Yeah, so
having
budgeting that. Yeah,
savings.
savings, like put aside money for taxes. Like it's so much easier than having to, come up with that amount.
do you
on the
guys
end.
use a credit card system, Square?
I
Do you
use Square, and then I also have my booking system. Also has like payment processing through there. It's just like I think a percentage higher than my Square is.
Do you guys have advice for a booking system for somebody that's maybe looking for one? Have you ran across one that is reasonable enough?
I did recently run across one of the ones that's that is becoming popular right now, and there's a couple of different brands are the ones that are doing I forget what they call it, but it's like they are basically they're taking the fee away from you and passing it on to the client. So kind of like the way like Arco, when you buy gas, it's like an extra 25 cents if you're not paying with cash. So that seems to be like a big thing that I'm seeing is in advertising is like taking the so that you don't have to pay the fee. Your client pays the fee. I just consider it a part of doing business.
Part of doing business.
Yeah, it's
guys.
part of doing business. Like there's going to be times where, you need to be able to build your pricing, but also building your pricing to accommodate for all of these things that you have to pay for, but
Insurance.
yes, but you have to be able to back up your pricing as well with the quality of service that you're providing as well. So if you're charging an exorbitant amount of money, you need to stand behind your work, you need to stand behind what you're doing, and you need to offer the service that price point goes along with.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. One final thing, because I think this will be really great for people listening to this that are interested in this world. The price between a booth rent in California. What is booth rent weekly in California right now?
So in the area that we're at in like kind of like central Orange County, it's kind of ranging from about $415, $420, and that's on a week to $550.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of anybody as a booth rental, unless you're in a suite, go as high as $600.
LA goes higher.
Oh yeah, for sure. LA goes, Los Angeles goes way higher than that. But also, I mean, my services would be double the price if we were in LA. That's just, I have clients that drive down here.
So you're
from
looking
LA.
at $2,500, anywhere from $2,000 to $3,500 a month to have a space.
Yes.
Now, what is these spaces that you guys are in? I know it depends, but if you have it a range, so people know if you go independent into a
so
room.
we are at Aspire, which I would personally say, not to shout out to them, not sponsored, but they're the nicest suites that I've ever seen. We had toured.
They are lovely.
We had toured so many suites for a really long time, and they're top notch.
They're pretty top notch.
They're gorgeous. Yeah. So you do get quite a bit with them, but I mean, you still are, we're not quite a double unit, even though we have 2 chairs and a shampoo bowl. They categorize us as like a single plus. So we pay $525 a week.
Each or together?
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a bonus of being together.
It definitely is a bonus. And I want to say that was only I think that was only like $100 more than just a 1 chair only space.
Yeah, you guys have made it work.
Mm-hmm.
It's really great.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really proud actually of both of you. And I think you guys are an inspiration.
Thank you.
To other people, especially the new people or people that just haven't pulled the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid. But also to know it's freaking hard work.
Oh, yeah.
If you want your own thing, it's not just coming to you because you went to hairdressing school.
Oh, yeah.
You got to put the time in.
Yeah.
There's going to be cost involved in your education and mentorship. Find a mentor. I think that would be great. Looks like we've got a couple right here. And I bugged Sharon for a long time. I'm like, I'm going to do this podcast thing. You want to come on? She was like, no. And then, anyways, I got her partner in crime to agree.
I know. Julia's like, let's do it. I was like, all righty.
So I'm going to have all their information in the show notes so you can check them out, hound them, make an appointment with them. They're both high-level hairdressers, so you got nothing to worry about. And they're responsible. They show up. And I think most of the time they're not hungover at all.
No.
No.
We don't do that
lovely,
anymore.
lovely individuals. And I'm so grateful they're part of the Beauty Outlaw. And we're going to chin because we always do that at the end of the Beauty Outlaw.
Tomorrow, though, we'll be having
Thank you.
So thank you for being here. Thank you for being my hairdresser.
Always.
And my friend.
Yes.
And I'm so glad now I get a dual partner in crime here when I come in to get my hair done. I got Julia. And maybe someday Julia's name will be up in lights.
Oh gosh.
I believe it.
So I believe it. I believe it.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, peace out.
Thank you for
To the
having
next
us.
to hairdressers and the next time on the Beauty Outlaw.
I love it.
Bye, everybody.